This week on Three Questions with Corey Kareem.
Let's talk day parties real quick.
Okay.
Have they officially taken over the nightlife party scene?
Day parties are great, you know. You could go home and have a good sleep, you know, at a nice time. And I think that's the key thing. And, you know, I think the vibes too, like looking outside a window or being outside and the sun is there, that alone is a vibe.
Now, a lot of people been feeling and believe that the club scene here in Toronto is dead. What's your take on that?
Now, before we get started with this beautiful conversation, please help a brother out and click on that follow button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Enjoy the conversation.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Three Questions with Corey Kareem, the podcast where we sit down with some amazing people who are doing some amazing things. And that's right, you guessed it. We ask them 3 questions, sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know. I read the comments. But rather than just talk about their wins or their successes, we tend to start the conversation around their failures and more specifically, the lessons they learn from those individual experiences. So with that being said, my guest today is the man behind some of Toronto's most iconic nightlife experiences. From transforming venues into cultural hotspots to shaping the city's entertainment scene for over 2 decades. Wow. My guest is not just a party promoter. No. Put some respect on his name. He's a brand builder, a community connector, and a master of vibes. So, without further ado, Junior Jones, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thank you, brother. And thanks for that great introduction. I appreciate it.
So I know I gave you a little bit of a lightweight introduction there, but for my audience, for my listeners, for the people watching, is there anything you'd like to add to that introduction that I just gave you?
No, that was a great intro. Yeah, I think one thing that stood out about the introduction was that it's more than just party promotions.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing people together. We're curating experiences.
Yeah.
We're working with brands, you know, we're providing hospitality. There's a lot that's in mind when we're delivering these events.
I love it. So, and by the way, I've actually never been to one of your parties, man.
Wow.
I've heard about your parties.
Really?
Everyone talks about it. Everybody I know knows your parties.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't think at least not that I could think of.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I don't be partying in Toronto. Look, we're going to get into that.
All
okay.
right.
We're going to circle back. We're going to circle back to that.
Right.
So, as I mentioned in the intro, you know, I start the conversation around failure. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, Junior, looking back at your life, whether it be personal or career-wise, what was one of the biggest or hardest challenges or setbacks you had? What happened? How'd you get over it? And most importantly, what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, that's a real good question. I think the thing with me is like I've come to learn that in life there's always going to be obstacles and challenges. There's going to be ups and downs. You know, on your journey, it's never going to be smooth. It's always going to be sort of a bumpy experience.
Yeah.
So I've learned that and I've embraced that. I welcome challenges. I expect them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really put my finger on one thing, but like in my personal life, and I think we've all had, you know, many challenges. But one for me personally is like family. You know, I've lost people who are very close to me, my mom, my dad, my younger brother.
Wow.
And so obviously those kinds of things are challenges within themselves that have impacted me in conducting work and other relationships and things like that. But, you know, I've just being in a mindset of knowing that this is part of life. These things will happen. Just being strong, resilient, leaning on to other people for support. You kind of just get through that, and you're growing when you're going through those things. So I transfer those kinds of experiences into business as well. So if we're doing an event and for whatever reason something doesn't go as planned, you know, we know those things are going to happen here and there, but it's how we cope with it, how we deal with it that matters, right? So it's just really learning from all experiences, whether it's personal, business, what have you, and just learning, using those lessons to push you forward in whatever sort of capacity it might be.
Yeah. So going back to the club experience, what you're known for in the city, was there ever like a night where like, yes, you know, every time you throw an event, there's maybe one thing that goes wrong, but was there ever like an event night where like just multiple things went wrong and you're like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna get through that. Like, what? Yeah. Tell me if was there experience like that, and tell me about it.
There has been.
Yeah.
There has been an event, and it was a really big event too.
Yeah.
Where there was a couple thousand people or more. Everyone was really excited about, a lot of anticipation. People invested in, you know, outfits, their time and everything. And there was like issues getting in because there was so many people. So it's slow to get in, long wait times, a bit of disorganization from some of the staff and things like that. So they were just pretty much overwhelmed with the size of the event. And so that kind of trickled down into other parts of, you know, the flow for the evening. And then sometimes it's technology. The sound might not be as great as...
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, for sure, because sound can impact the vibe. You know, you need loud, high-quality sound, right? Especially in a big room or in a big space. So we've had issues with sound before not being efficient. And just other little things, you know, throughout the ride. Sometimes people don't even know. They won't notice it. But, you know, being the event curator or organizer, you're going to know those things. Of course. And it's going to bother you. But you try to just go on with the show and do whatever you can to fix them.
So on the part where you're saying that one time you had like a sound issue.
Right.
Like, how did you like fix that? Like, what's the workaround?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, you communicate with the techs on site and hope that they can resolve it as quickly as possible. But in this particular case, it didn't quite get resolved in a sufficient way at all. So it was a little disappointing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there was sound, but it wasn't good enough.
Right,
you know?
Right. And from those type of experience, what would you say from throwing all the events that you've thrown over the last 2 decades, what would you say is that like the biggest lesson you've learned from those events?
Wow. I don't know. My goal for every party is to make sure people are have a great time, a good experience. Sometimes we want to inspire people in whatever way we can. Yeah. Just evoke emotions of joy, excitement, feel good, nice vibes, and whatnot. But I've learned that, you know, everyone has different preferences. I try to accommodate everyone, but you can't. Right. You're not everyone, right? But you can do your best to put on a great event to the best of your ability. Offer the best in every category, from music, venue, you know, all the things that make up a good event. And, you know, hopefully people receive it well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you see, you said something that just like came to mind, made me just think of something. You know, you said you can't please everybody, and you're absolutely right. I remember, I don't know if it was Bill Cosby said, I don't know what the key to success is, but I do know the key to failure is trying to please everybody. Right. Right. And so when I hear you say you can't please everybody, I wonder if you've ever noticed that certain themes work better than others, because I feel like you have a certain theme to a lot of your events, and I'm just curious to know how you decide, okay, this party is going to be this theme and that party is going to be that theme.
Yeah. So overall, we're a lifestyle brand. Yeah. You know, we like to focus on like sophistication, high quality, fashion, people who like to travel, that kind of demographic.
Yeah.
So we focus our events on that. So the all white event, the all black, those are meant to be events where you put a little more effort into your outfit and your appearance. There's usually a lot of anticipation for that. And then there's music driven events like R&B room, where we focus on the music and the vibe. So yes, to your question and your point is different events will target different people.
Got you. I just can't. An idea just came to mind. So I don't know if you've seen the theme of the most recent Met Gala. I feel like you should do your own.
That's
take.
a dope. That was
you
dope.
should do your own take on that.
I think so, man. That's cool.
Yeah, and you should do it like. TIFF is probably a hard time to do events, but if you can do an event around that TIFF time and do like that Met Gala type thing, I think that would be a good look.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
So what do you think is one thing most people wouldn't know about you, or like what do you think that thing would be?
Yeah, I've been around for a long time.
Yeah,
like the Junior Jones group.
Yeah,
brand kind of emerged, about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
That's when I did the first party, 12, 13 years ago. It was called Collins Ave. And I got the...
After Miami?
Yes.
Got you. Okay.
Yes, I got
South Beach?
You got it. So, and the reason why I called the event Collins Ave is that's where I got the inspiration to do parties. So I would travel to Miami quite a bit and go to parties there.
Yeah.
And it was there that I said, you know what, I want to go back home to Toronto and do parties similar to these ones. And initially, the promotion company was called Miami Boy Lifestyle,
right? With
one of my close friends. His name is Sean, and he was based in Miami. I'm based here in Toronto, and most of the people that were attending knew me. He was kind of busy with other things in Miami, so then it kind of shifted to Junior Jones Group. And at that time, Junior Jones Group was not a promotions company. It was a sponsorship sales business. So this is something people might not know.
Gotcha.
What we were doing was we were partnering with other event organizers, people who did like galas, sports shows, conferences and things like that, fashion shows. We would partner with them and help them get sponsors for their events. So that was our involvement in events. But then when I started doing the promotions, I pivoted and focused solely on curating my own events. Right?
Got you.
But before that, I was also like a corporate sales executive.
Okay, I can see that though. Yeah, I can see that.
I was a corporate sales executive. With a content distribution company.
Okay.
So we were, when people started using their phones and mobile devices to consume content. This company was one of the first to have the technology to do that. So some of the customers were the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, World Cup. And in Canada, Rogers, Bell, all those kinds of companies, we would, do business with them and provide them with the technology to stream media and content and all that.
So what I'm hearing, you took a transferable skill set.
You got it.
And you made it work into a completely different avenue. I like it.
Yeah. So what happened was that was all there was no real passion for that, right? It was a great industry, a great job. I loved it. But my real passion was entertainment and bringing people together, and so that's when I shifted all my focus there.
Love it, man. All right. Now I've been really waiting to ask you this. So now it's no secret that you host, and promote some of the hottest parties and events in the city. With that in mind, what was your journey like getting to this level, and what makes you different from other promoters in the city? In other words, Junior, what's the blueprint, bro?
Wow. Good question.
Because like we were saying before off camera, I remember when Wayne Warner was the guy.
Right.
And then I'm not in the scene like that, but for me, it just seems like you came out of nowhere and just kind of replaced those Wayne Warner parties.
Yeah. Like I said before, I've been around for a long time, even before people started like recognizing the name, or before it was a brand or a promotion company. So back in the day, I was a DJ. Many, many years ago, I was a DJ, and I, went to events a lot. And so I began meeting a lot of people, and a lot of people knew me. And so I was always in the circle, knew a lot of promoters and things like that, traveled a lot. It was really, I think, consistency in making sure that with every event, the focus is on people having a good time. It's not a business. It was a business, but like,
Of course.
the focus is having a good party.
Right.
That's number one.
Yeah.
No matter what, always make sure you have good music, good atmosphere, a good vibe. That was always the goal, and being consistent with the delivery of that, as well as the presentation, like the marketing and everything else, really building a brand. And just by sticking to that, things, grew every single time. After each event, the numbers would just get bigger and bigger, and the word of mouth. And before you know it, like it became like a really big thing. And then I would take my time with doing the next event, right? I wouldn't do them too quick.
Yeah.
Build a little bit of anticipation as well. And people would be like, yo, when's the next one?
Right. Keep them waiting.
Oh my God, when is the next one? You know? So that was part of the formula before. And that's pretty much it. And yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So how many events do you do a year on average? Roughly.
Currently, I would say like 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. And so let me ask you this. Because obviously I feel like I could be wrong in saying this. The party promoter space could feel competitive or crowded.
Yeah.
Let's say that word. I think you might have answered this already, but I'll just ask you directly. What do you think makes you different or separates you from all the other guys trying to do what you do?
Yeah. I just stick to my what I like to do. I don't really pay too much attention to how other people do their events.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for all the other promoters. Some of them inspire me, but yeah, I just kind of stay in my own lane, stay focused on my vision, and that's been working.
Got you. What would you say is a common mistake you see promoters do?
I think sometimes over promotion.
So that would that be like, let's say my party is July 1st, and I started promoting in like what, March? Is that over promoting, or like how would you call?
So I have a tendency to announce events pretty late.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but what I meant was just too much in your face. No matter when you launch it, it's okay to launch it 3 or 4 or 5 months before, but I think it's the frequency in which you are, the messaging, and how you do it. I think you need to be consistent with how you do it, and have really nice visuals, again, that are consistent with you, right? It has to really, what's the word? Connect with people and resonate with them. And it has to be authentic. And I think if you could do that, then you'll have a good results.
Right. Now, you mentioned something earlier about saying like you just stick to what I'm paraphrasing here, you stick to what you do best. So what do you think your brand is in the kind of club event creation space? Like, what do you think that brand is for you?
Yeah, I would say it's a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
That's, I would call it like urban upscale. Yeah.
Urban upscale. I like that. That's a nice little twist.
Yeah.
Urban upscale. I dig that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the Toronto club party scene here for a second.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people been feeling and believe that the club scene here in Toronto is dead. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it depends on. I think a lot has to do with how old are you. You know, like firstly, are you in your 30s, 40s? Are you in your 50s? If you're a little older, you might say, yeah, it's dead because you can't really resonate with anything that maybe that's going on. There might not be as many clubs that cater to that age group, whereas a younger person who's in their 20s might be.
Right.
There might be a whole bunch of. Actually, I was walking down the street on King Street last Friday.
Yeah.
And it was packed, and I couldn't believe it. Oh, there was a lot of young people there.
Yeah.
And every block had a huge lineup of people, young people trying to get into a party. So if you were someone walking on King Street and you saw that, I don't think you would say the club scene is dead.
Fair.
But if you're an older person and there's one party a month, then yeah, you're gonna think it's dead. But I think another thing that way to distinguish this thing is that there's clubs that have a weekly program, but then there's also events. I think when you get older, you move away from the clubs, going out on a weekly basis with your crew or your friends or whatever, and you wait for events, right?
I like that distinction.
Once a month, once every 2 months, you know, something that, you know, you like, oh, I get to dress up now for this Met Gala type of event, or this all white event, or this all black, or I love R&B. Let me go to this R&B music event or what have you. So I think that's what I'm seeing now, is that they're more event driven as opposed to club driven. You know, you're following promoters or event organizers, and those are a little bit few and far between, but that's, you know, it's not as consistent or frequent.
Listen, I love the way you just phrased that. I think when you get older, you go from more club scene to more event driven.
That's right.
Outings. That makes sense to me. I can track that.
Yeah.
But are you going on record saying that the club scene in Toronto is not dead?
I honestly can't say that because answer that because like I said, I was walking on the street and it was packed.
Yeah.
But I'm a little older too.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's dead. No, I don't think it's dead. It's just, what is your preference? What do you like? And you just have to find it. And I think it's all there for you if you just look for it.
Right. But you are acknowledging, I guess it gets harder to find where to have fun when you get older.
Yes.
And that's what the challenge is. But that's where you come in, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, kind of as a follow-up to that, what do you think or what do you believe was the best club era in Toronto? Like, I have my thoughts. Listen, I'm always going to pick when I was young. But I feel like that early 2000, mid 2000 era was the best. But then to your point, what you just said, I look at how old I was. and for me, I was in like, you know, I was coming from 19 into my early 20s, right? So that's the time where so many things are available to you. But I also feel like culturally, the city, I felt like, if I just use like Caravana as an example, I just felt like Caravana was a bigger event back then.
I agree. 100%.
So there was a lot more parties going on.
For sure. Yeah, that era where, you remember, everyone always talks about this, the Friday night on Yonge Street. Right?
Yeah.
That was a party in itself.
Yeah.
You didn't even need to go into any clubs.
That's right.
I think that era was amazing for the city. Everybody wanted to be in Toronto, right? People from New York,
Detroit,
Chicago, Detroit,
you
know, New Jersey. So that era was great. You know, the era where Richmond had a club every step you take. There's another club there. You know, the days of like Fluid and all those clubs back in the day. That was a really good time.
What would you say is your favorite club from back in the day?
I liked Fluid.
Fluid
was cool on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Thursday nights was a vibe.
What would you say is a runner up to that from back in the day? Because for me, I'm thinking like my memories I have, if I'm thinking about distinct club memory spots.
Yeah.
The Docks.
The Docks, yeah.
Was one. Man, what was another one that was standing out to me? I don't know. I'm just thinking of Docks right now, but there's another one that will come to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A runner up, jeez. I don't know. See, I was pretty event driven back then too.
Okay.
You know, I didn't really, except for Fluid. There wasn't really a club where I said, "Hey, man, I need to be there every Friday or every Saturday. It wasn't really
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember there were so many that kind of popped up and then popped off.
Right.
Like I remember there was like Club Phoenix, and then there was something like 21 or something like that. Man, there was a few back in the day that popped on and popped off. But yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. Let's talk day parties real quick.
Okay.
Have they officially taken over the nightlife party scene?
Yeah, day parties are great, you know. They've been real popular, I would say, for the last 10 years or so. More and more people are doing them, and it makes sense, you know. You could go home and have a good sleep, you know, at a nice time. And I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
Is you still get your good night's sleep.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I think the vibes too, like looking outside a window or being outside and the sun is there, that alone is a vibe, I think, you know.
Yeah. No, I was trying to think about why day parties are becoming so popular, and you call it a good point. You could still get home at a reasonable time and still have reasonable sleep, and you know, go to work or you know, do your business the next day. But you know, for a city like Toronto, where it's cold, like 7 out of 12 months, day parties, you feel like it gets limiting a little bit, right? But I just been seeing so many different themes around day parties, whether it's on streets or whether it's in an actual like club event location. I'm just like, I wonder what the fascination is. Like I've been to a few, and I like them, and especially like in the States on a Sunday, right? The Sunday fun days or the Sunday brunches are a big thing. I see that trend happening here too, and I'm sure you're like tapping into that.
100%. I mean, early on, I was doing day parties, and that's what really got things going. Were the day parties?
Yeah.
There weren't that many at that time, and people really gravitated towards them. They loved it. It was new. You know, we've been going to night parties for decades. So when the day party came around, it was something new and refreshing, I think. That's why people really liked it.
Right. So do you feel like day parties have overthrown the nightlife parties?
Yeah, I think so to a degree. Depending on, again, demographics and your age and whatnot, but especially for older people, I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's the thing. The Toronto, like the overall, the Toronto party scene, let's just call it that, whether day party or nighttime, what do you think the city has to like go to get to the next level? What do you think that next level is for the city? Because you obviously you like Miami. We're never gonna be in Miami. Let's just call a spade a spade. But like, let me take a step back. Is there another level for us to reach? Do you feel like there is, or?
Yeah, I think there's always room to grow and get better.
Yeah.
What that is, I don't know. I think spaces, we need some new spaces. We're kind of limited.
Like venue locations.
Venues.
Yeah.
We're limited in that regard. And we need more creativity.
Yeah.
I think we have, our city is full of so many smart, creative people. And I think we just need to apply that more and not look to Miami or New York or Los Angeles and do our own thing and embrace it and push it forward.
You know what I think is kind of, maybe I'm wrong in this, but I think what could be unique to us is basement jams. Because I remember in like high school, like you weren't old enough to go to the clubs yet.
Yeah.
And like basement parties were like kind of like the thing until you could be old enough to go to the clubs. So I'm like, I'm sure this has been done, but maybe not at scale. But could you recreate like
Absolutely. There are people doing that. Yeah. There are people doing that now.
Yeah.
I went to one last month.
Oh, wow.
Where it was in a basement.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was amazing. The energy was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's great promoters in the city doing new things. We just need more and more and more of it.
Yeah. Because you know what I'm thinking? I really want Toronto to get back to that like when everyone thought Sean Paul was from Toronto vibe. That era, you know, like I felt like,
right.
you know, that era, like I felt like, I want to say we've lost our cachet, but it felt like our light has been dimmed a bit.
Yeah, I agree. And that's okay too. I think we'll get it back.
Yeah.
I believe we will get it back. It's a great city.
Yeah.
With great people in it. We have mega stars from our city and whatnot. We have great athletes from our city. We have so much talent, so much diversity, and whatnot. We're one of the largest cities in North America. We're world renowned. So I believe that, just like the first question, my answer to the first question, where it's not a smooth journey, there's ups and downs, and I think we're going to rise again.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, I just thought of this as you're articulating your answer. A trend that I've been seeing on YouTube is like these I'm gonna call them like apartment parties. Like these DJs, they look like they're in like a loft of some sort.
And there's a whole bunch of people behind them.
Yeah.
See, look at that. All that is cool. Like these are all new, innovative trends that are happening, and I love seeing that kind of thing.
Is anyone doing that up here?
Oh yeah, a lot of people are doing
Okay.
And it's being well received. It's going viral. It's new,
Yeah.
It's great for social media.
Yeah.
And I love seeing stuff like that.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of creativity in this space. Now, Junior, as I ask my last kind of major question to you before we pivot here for a second.
Yeah.
To the person out there that's just getting their beat wet in the club promotion, event planning, event curation space, and they want to, be just like you or be their own version of you, right? If you can only give that person one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Firstly, make sure it's your passion. That's key. And it's kind of cliche, but you have to love what you're doing. Yeah. That's key, number one. So if you love what you're doing, this is, this is what you want to do, then put your heart into it. Blood, sweat, and tears, be consistent, lean on other people in the industry, get support, get people around you, create a team, and just stick at it and have a vision and purpose. And again, work at it every day, and the time will come when things develop.
Got it.
Yeah.
I love that. Now we're going to pivot here for a second. Now we're going to actually get to the 3 questions part. All so right. To give you some context, Junior, last summer when I turned 40, I went to Costa Rica. I locked myself in a cabin in the middle of the jungle.
Oh, shoot.
And I was on like a retreat. And while I was like self-isolated, I came up with this saying came to me, and it said, no one will talk you into or out of more things than yourself. So I decided to come up with my own kind of card game, but it's not for dating purposes, but it's kind of a game that you play. It's a conversation card game that you use with yourself or maybe a partner to help you to have constructive, productive conversations with yourself. Because one of the things I just discovered in the last year or so is that having or learning to have constructive and productive conversations with yourself is one of the biggest skills you can have in your life, because no one's talking to you more than you, right? So with that being said, I want you to pick 2 cards, any 2 cards from the desk, and you're going to answer the question to the best of your ability.
Okay.
There you go. You can read the question out loud and then answer it.
Oh, boy. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
Name one thing you used to be afraid of or uncomfortable with, but now do comfortably or well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what I said to you earlier?
I'm trying to jot.
I usually don't.
Oh yes.
Come on podcasts.
Right. This is like his first time, guys. This is his first time on here.
I don't do this kind of thing. It's not that I was afraid. Maybe a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm a very quiet, calm, and reserved person. But I decided that I was going to step out of that comfort zone.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. And do more of these interviews.
And here you are. You're doing well, brother.
Here we are right now.
You're doing well.
Yes.
You're doing well. What's the next one?
The next one is, if you had 6 months left to live, who are the people you would spend it with the most? Obviously, my family.
Got you.
Yeah, my family, my kids. And that's about it.
Yeah. So my final question to you is, what is a quote or a mantra that you currently live by?
That's a good one. There's a few out there, but one that sticks with me a lot is like, and it's not a complicated one. It's very simple. It's respect is everything. Yeah. Try to treat everyone the way I would want to be treated, whether it's in personal relationships or business. Treat them with respect and receive respect back.
I love that, and it reminds me of what my friend said. She's like, you should always be a nice person, because you never know when that person's gonna come back around, right? Like,
Right.
be nice to people, because things are always in flux and changing, and you might be the boss one day, and the next day you have to partner, might be working for somebody.
That's right.
And if you treated them like,
Right.
then you already know how that's going to be.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, this concludes this episode of 3 Questions with Corey Kareem. And as my listeners and my followers know, I like to end each episode with saying this. Sometimes you don't need to learn anything new. You just need to hear or see that somebody else went through it too. So with that being said, Junior and myself are out. Peace and love. Till the next time.
Clockwise, 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 clockwise.